Welcome to the Blueprint Solutions video tutorial series. Today we're going to look at the online patient appointment booking feature. Your patients can now book appointments directly on your website, which will feed to your calendar in Blueprint automatically. You can start by navigating to the Setup menu in Blueprint. There's a scheduling portion here where you'll see online booking. Start by enabling online booking by checking the box. Blueprint will take you through a wizard to set up your online booking preferences. Click Next and determine which locations you want allowed to be booked online. At the next step, you can determine which providers you want to be able to have appointments booked for them online. You can even change how their name displays on your website. At the next step, you determine if you're going to be using availability within Blueprint or if you already have block scheduling set up on your calendar. Next, you'll see a list of the appointments that you schedule in Blueprint. Determine if you want those types of appointments to be booked online and if there's any resources required for those appointments. Blueprint will ensure that those resources, those sound booths, don't get double booked during those appointment times. Maybe the appointment is called audiological evaluation in your Blueprint database, but you simply want it called hearing test or hearing exam when the patient's booking that appointment online. And then here you can determine if you want this appointment to be allowed to be booked by new or existing patients or both. Click Next. When a patient books an appointment on your website, Blueprint will automatically send them an email asking them to verify that they did in fact book that appointment. This will be the sending address of that email. So go ahead and type in whatever address you want attached to that verification email that will be sent out. In case the patient responds to that email, you'll want to make sure that somebody at your clinic is receiving those replies at this address. And then go ahead and click Finish. Now you have the ability to set up additional preferences. You can determine if you want a specific booking time slot interval. I want appointments to show every 15, 30, or 60 minutes. You can decide if you want a specific color. Pick a themed color that will show on your website, the font family, the font size. When the patient's entering their name for their appointment and their email address, you can determine if you want more fields required to be entered. Optionally, I can click Address, and then I can decide if I want that to be required to be entered by the patient when they're booking the appointment. Any information that the patient will be typing in online, that will be saved within your Blueprint, and that will start the creation of the file. Much less information that you have to enter manually when creating a patient file. And down here, you can also enter any terms and conditions that you want displayed on your website as well. You can click Save to store any changes. What you can do is click this Copy iframe HTML. It's going to copy a block of text, and now go ahead and just paste that in an email and send that to your website provider. You can also copy a URL. This would allow the patient to maybe click a button on your site that says Book Appointment Now. It will take them to an outside URL where they can then schedule their appointment. Now let's navigate to the schedule. Here's my calendar. I can block in times that my providers are available for online booking. I can start by choosing one of my locations from my drop-down menu in the top right-hand corner. Then I can click this button at the top that says Show Availability. As soon as I do that, it's going to show me times that my providers are available at my clinic. If I just want to view, one provider at a time, I can always uncheck other providers. Now I'm going to start by blocking in time that Linda's available. So I'm going to right-click in a time slot and choose a starting time interval. So there's 9 o'clock. I'm going to create availability at my Watertown clinic for my provider, Linda. Maybe Linda is available from 8 o'clock till 4 o'clock at this location. So I can always drag and drop to change my starting time and the duration that she's available. I can also make this block of time repeat. I could say that she's available at this location weekly, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting on this date and choosing an end date or putting a no end date. And I can click Save. I can determine if these blocks of time should be available for online booking. And then within these blocks of time, I can also determine what types of events should be scheduled. Perhaps I want to reserve just my mornings for hearing tests or just Thursday afternoons for fittings. You could do that. Click OK and create the availability, and now I'll see these blocks of times every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at this location. Let's see how this will look on your website. We're now viewing an audiology design website. So what you'll see here is they put together this nice sample for us. They can take the iframe and embed that right on your website. I chose purple as my color, so I'm seeing that here now. First question to the patient is, have you visited the clinic before? I can click, no, I've never been to the clinic. Based on that, we know they're a new patient. Here are the appointment types you decided are available for new patients. I'll go ahead and choose my hearing test, and then here are the locations. What's nice is if you do have multiple locations, there will be a Google map where if you hover over that specific location, they'll see the pin on that map. So let me go ahead and say that I want to go to I want to see the provider at the Watertown Clinic. And then what will happen is we can default this to any available provider, or maybe that patient was referred to see a specific provider. So I want to see Linda. You can load pictures of your providers directly into your Blueprint Setup menu, so those appear here as well. What I'll see is Linda's available Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at this Watertown Clinic. Let me do Friday the 22nd. And now here are the blocks of times that we have available. So Linda must already have some other appointments scheduled on that day because those blocks are no longer available. It's a real-time update. If you book an appointment on your calendar or a patient books an appointment on your website, it's going to remove those available blocks of time right away from that day. Let's go ahead and do a 10 o'clock hearing test on the 22nd. And at this point, we're going to enter all the demographic information that we require from the patient. So in this case, I require a title, and then I want the patient's first name, last name, phone number, decide what type of phone, mobile, home, work phone, and then an email address. So email should be required because you're going to want to have that automatic verification email sent out once the patient books this appointment. I also decided in my Blueprint Setup menu that I wanted an address to be filled in. I didn't require the address, but I do allow the patient to enter it. That way that information will be pushed over into my Blueprint once they create that appointment. I also allow them to enter a message and how they heard about my clinic here as well. All right. I can also book this for another person, so I can enter information for an alternate contact. Here are the terms and conditions from my Blueprint Setup menu, and then I'm going to go ahead and flag that I'm not a robot. Upon clicking Book Appointment, we get the nice confirmation here. We have a hearing test scheduled for the 22nd with Linda at the Watertown location, and an email was just sent to Mary to verify her booking. What's also nice about this is that the patient can cancel or reschedule their appointment right from here. So it's really going to reduce a lot of time spent on the phone doing that rescheduling. Back in my Blueprint, if I clicked the schedule here, it's going to show me my calendar, and on Friday the 22nd, I now see this appointment booked for Mary. It has the nice web icon next to it, so I know that this appointment came in from my website. Again, if I was just looking at Linda, it would look a little something more like this. What's nice too is you get this little slide out panel. I have a blue number 2. When I click on that button, it pulls out a panel and it shows me appointments that have come in from online that still need to be verified. Now, if Mary verifies her own appointment in that automatic email, it will remove it from this slide out panel. Or I can also just right click and verify the booking myself here. When you're done with this panel, just click the button to close it again. The creation of Mary's file has already started for you. When you right-click on this appointment, you can see the quick add details. So Mary entered her information online. It's now storing that here. If I picked how that patient heard about me and click OK, I can convert this to a full file now. When Mary walks into my office, and maybe at that point I'm grabbing address and insurance information. If an existing patient scheduled an appointment, it will automatically link that appointment to their file based on their name and email address. I hope you found today's video helpful. If you have any questions, please give us a call.